See this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify, get helpful stats, and all the support you need to sound your very best.
Coffee time again, exposing the truth. Welcome to Coffee Time Again, exposing the truth. Dale at the microphone, the show that demonstrates how history repeats itself. He digs into the past, shows what happens, and how it is happening now. Follow the path of history to where it goes, then relate it to today to reveal the connections. The culture that forgets its history has no future. A history buff and loves to talk about it, going back as far as ancient Greeks and Egyptians and beyond. So grab your coffee, your chair, and listen to the show. Hope you enjoy.
Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you're at. My name is Dale. I'm your host at Coffee Time Again, exposing the truth. And today's guest is named Samuel Smith. He's a gentleman of color and a good man. I know him. And we wanted to have a conversation between the races and see what's going on, and see what we can do to start the healing, because it has to start somewhere. Why not with us, in my opinion? So here we go. Let's go ahead and have Sam introduce himself and get going. Go ahead, Sam, hit it.
Hello, and good afternoon to everyone. I am Samuel Smith. I am an individual I was born in 1964. So I'm part of the Jim Crow era. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I have 5 children. I've done many things in my life. I'm an electrician. I'm a plumber. I have many. Back in the day, it was not about a piece of paper. It was about getting in there, getting a job, and learning something. And that's what's different in society today. That now everybody has to have credentials to do certain things, which is understandable. And we look at things in a perspective to where it's about knowledge and gaining knowledge. So in that perspective, it is something I think is really hard to do when you have individuals that has been through things, and now that they're requiring documentation to to better yourself. It is so hard for us that because like I said, I've been an electrician. When I started electricity, it was in the 70s, and it was just basic electricity, and we did outlets and minor things. But as time passed, we got into bigger things, and I ended up doing gas. So I got one of those jack of all trades, master of a few, not of none, but a master of a few. So, but trying to live in society today, it is so hard to regulate yourself in the way society is. It's you work for a company, and it's almost like they try to take advantage of you, and they don't want you to grow unless they have a say so. So that's what that's what I have been finding out as time passes. I've been blessed to make it to the age of 58 years old. So, I feel that, I could bring a lot of knowledge to the table, and bring things forth to where people can understand that it's simply, if you simplify, it's easy as going to the library, doing some studies, and basically preparing yourself for what's to come. And the younger generation, unfortunately, is they're relying on certain things, and they're not taking that initiative to better themselves.
You're right, Sam. And I did have a question because you mentioned it early on, and because I have some younger viewers in their 20s and 30s, like you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. And I'd like you to explain to them a little bit. And you don't have to go into greater details. You can, as you want to, but explain to them what Jim Crow was. I remember it too, because I was born in 1950.
Yes, well, Jim Crow was an era where it was designed to hurt or hinder our as far as to say, as a minority, as an African American. And back then you did not have a choice in your say. They made sure it's like riding the bus, voting. I also went through the segregation of schooling, and I had to do, where they took a bunch of black kids and sent them over to the white schools, and it was a lot of turmoil at first, but thank God it did calm down, and we kind of like had to come to a happy medium in the situation, but it's still in society today. You can still see the remnants of that Jim Crow, because of the fact that if you look at society, they will give you opportunity, but they'll hinder that at the same time. So it's almost like, here's the door, but we're going to put this wall up to make sure that, we're going to make it a little harder for you, regardless of, how you feel about the situation. You say fair is fair. And I look at the situations as saying, I should have opportunity just like everybody else should have opportunity. And but which I do understand now, that it's all about being certified and having that education to do that job. But in my era, it wasn't like that. So we had to learn from either working odd jobs, just trying to make it. So they were not allowing us to go to schools and stuff like that. So it was always hands on. So I have that hands on experience other than going through the paperwork and doing that kind of stuff. And as I learned, as I kind of trying to better myself, then I had to go back to the books and say, okay, now if you want to be a journeyman or a master, now you have to learn certain elements of that trade. So that's what we did, and we always strive to, you know, also keeping it low key. You have to keep it low key, because if you stood out too much, you were attacked, or in a sense where, oh, he's going too far too fast, so we need to stop him. Let's put some walls up to make it harder, to for him to succeed. And it's just, it's a shame that society has not went past that since the Jim Crow era. It's there. It's not as heavy, but it's still there. You can still see it, and that's a shame, But as far as for the individual, I try to tell the young ones, keep thriving to better yourself, regardless of what happens. You have to keep going, because in the end, they're going to need you just as much as you need them. So that's the way I look at that.
And I think you got a good point there, Sam. You do need us, and I need you.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it personal. I need you. I need people in my life. Because where I grew up in a very racist environment. I am not a racist, but I grew up in one. And in my hometown it was just absolutely, up until 72, if you were not white, you were not allowed to be in the county. See? After dark.
Yes.
That's how bad it was. And that was until 72.
Correct.
That was nasty stuff. And, I grew up in the 60s, and I remember Martin Luther King and his nonviolent way to things. And I think that's the way to go, is nonviolent. However,
yes, you have to. You definitely, you don't want to cause any more. I guess you want to say conflict than what's already there. Right. And and you try to be the nonviolent. You're trying to get your word out. You're trying to send a message to the people that enough is enough. We got to, if we plan on being a serious and dedicated country, we got to get rid of all these little hiccups. We got to look at ourselves as, say, we're individuals now, and we must stick together, because things are getting tougher as the days go by.
I totally agree with you. Things are getting rough out there. I mean, with all the different, there's the, what are they? Oh, I can't think of that white supremacist group out there.
Yes, there's a lot of them. The Brotherhood,
there's and Aryan Nation, and that's not the one I'm thinking about. No, it's the old. What's the name of the darn thing? The one that was in January 6th. The one that got in trouble there at January 6th at the White House. With the
the insurrection.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that was. I think that was just a riot that got out of control in myself. I wouldn't call it an insurrection.
It was.
I wouldn't call it an insurrection. Me personally, I know what insurrections are. I lived through them.
Exactly.
But Proud Boys, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think that if it had been, and I hate to say this, if it had been minorities that was doing that, that would have went a lot different.
You're right. And from what I understand, it was the Proud Boys who were instigators of the whole thing. It was
Yes.
just a riot that got out of control, and they blamed the president for it when he had very little, had nothing to do with it. He says, because they all say we got to fight for our country, and I agree with that.
Yes, that's
Fight,
true. You know,
but not
and
physically.
exactly. You know, you have to do things on a basis to where, you know, it's got to be equal. It's got to be equal for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, it's not just one. And you know, as far as this being divided, which is amazing to me, you know, after all this time, that we're still in that same boat. That we're divided. Why are we divided? And we should be together. You know, it's 2023,
Yeah.
and we're still
Well,
going through the same things.
yeah. And what happened partially, this is just a partial answer, but I can see it from history, that in 1913, a man by the name of Woodrow Wilson was elected president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in 1912, the government was desegregated. They had whites in their offices. They had sitting right next to an African American doing the same work, getting the same pay.
Yep.
The military was desegregated.
Yes.
All of that was desegregated, and racist Woodrow Wilson to all the African Americans, all the people of color, because they weren't just African Americans, there were other peoples of color as well,
Mm-hmm.
threw them all out of the government, including the
Yes.
military. We segregated, and I believe, and I get real angry when I talk about Woodrow Wilson because I hate the man so bad because he was such a jerk, such a bad president. But
Yeah.
because he was misogynist and just a lot of things, and
Yeah. He
Zionist,
was
and
wicked, very wicked.
yeah, he was a very wicked man. And he said, I think he set race relations back a good 100, 120 years by
Mm-hmm.
desegregating the government. I think we'd have
Yes.
been in a lot better spot.
And that's why, you know, I still see, and which is a shame, that they still allow certain things to go on.
Yes, they do.
And that
It's
should
wrong.
not be going on now. It
No,
should not be going on now. You
I
know,
totally
they should
agree.
be, we should be past all that.
Yeah,
And you know, everybody, because they call this us Americans,
yes.
and that's what we're supposed to be.
hmm
And but yet we're gonna put you under this, let's say, under thumb type of situation
Yeah,
until we need you, and then as soon as you are this, until we need you, and then all of a sudden it's my fellow Americans
yeah.
again.
It's called Vietnam.
Yes, exactly what it's called.
You know, I'm
Yes.
not. It's just that they had so many soldiers over there of color and so many white, but there were more of color than there was of white, as I understand it. Now, I'm a Vietnam
Yes.
era veteran. I was in the military during Vietnam, but I never went over there. Never went to
Yes.
one. But
Yeah,
know,
my uncles used to tell me, he said the scary part was you not only have to watch the ones in front of you, you have to watch the ones behind you as well.
yeah, that's the way it was over there. Then I've talked to several people were in Vietnam, and they said they had as much danger from the fellow soldiers as they did from the Vietnamese.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you get those
And that's a
sudden.
crying shame.
It is a crying shame, and I don't know if that was that way in Afghanistan during that war or not. I pray to God it wasn't, but I'm sure there was some racism going on.
Yes, yes, and you know, especially in Somalia and those countries. I remember, what was it, back in, I think it was the 70s, where they were showing where the the people were running for the line to get free from the terrorism,
Yeah.
and they were shooting them,
hmm
and United States were, you know, they didn't. It was almost like it hurt to see
Yeah.
that y'all call yourself, and but yet you do nothing. You know, certain things you let take place, and that's a shame.
It is.
We need to come together as a country.
Yeah, we
Okay,
do.
that's what we need to do. And we need to stop all this rhetoric about all this other stuff, and we need to sit down and say, okay, we can't give you what we promised you, but we're going to open some doors for you so you can make it in society. Okay, we did wrong, and it is one thing to say, it's like for me, being segregated and going to the schools. I thought that, why would you guys put us in a position to where you're sending us to people who hate us?
Yeah.
And that's, that's a conflict of interest. And I don't care, in so many ways, that that's inciting and creating more, hatred towards the two, because we were already segregated. And
Yeah.
it's not. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay.
And that's where I was born, but I was raised in Rayville. And when we was little, there was a white line that went down the middle of the town, and you had to be on that side of that white line. If they caught you on the opposite side without permission, you got hung.
Yeah. The hangings were part of that, what you're talking about in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
The segregation and the busing and the schooling and stuff. A lot of that was due to a racist general by the name of Lyndon Baines Johnson, another racist president. He's a Southern bigot from Texas.
Yep. Yes, I
and
remember.
Another evil man.
Yes.
Another evil president. He was. And
it's life must be tangible for everyone.
We need a president of peace like Jimmy Carter.
Well, but see, all the ones that was, like Kennedy, they killed. They killed
Kennedy, and Carter messed up. He lost his chance at a second term because of his policy with the hostages. It's what cost him his job.
That's it. And Carter was, he was light-handed, but he was a solid individual.
Right.
But he just, certain things he could not deal with. He didn't know how to sit down and negotiate, and that's what. Yeah, he showed weakness. He showed weakness, and when Reagan came in, Reagan was the individual that said, no. If you do not, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And force that hard hand, heavy hand, as they would say.
Yes. And, he was heavy-handed too.
Yes. But he also caused a lot of problems for us. And I hate to say, back then, Mr. Biden called us super predators, and he also set up a role to make sure that we were held to a certain standard, and he made people fear, hate, and everybody say, well, come on, and again, you look at how things transpired as time went on, and you say to yourself, how did they get that, since they're so poor, and all the things that's going on? How would they even be able to accumulate that kind of money to get that kind of stuff? So that means something was going on under the table. Yes. They were letting things, and things had to happen for them to do. My mother, she told us, she said, they tried to kill us. They tried to stop us from having babies. And I'm like, why would you say that, Mama? Why would they do that? And she goes, well, baby, they told us that they were giving us these shots to help us to prevent sickness. And come to find out, they were giving them sickle cell. And that's why now I'm sickle cell trait, and my children are sickle cell trait. And it's like, wow. And it's like, they did not try to help. They were actually, honestly, trying to hurt.
Well, in my opinion, and Margaret Sanger was a founder of Planned Parenthood.
Yes, I heard of her name.
Yeah, she was a racist and a bigot and a lot of other things. And she started Planned Parenthood specifically for eugenics. Her goal was genocide of the African Americans, or she called them the not deplorables, what she called them, undesirables.
Yes,
Not
undesirable.
just some African Americans, but people who were mentally challenged, who had mental health defects,
Yes.
Crippled, were born. She wanted to get rid of all of it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
primarily, she was after the African Americans with Planned Parenthood, and she's still going on to this day.
It sure is.
Yeah.
You are definitely correct.
More African American children are aborted each year than white children in 2 years.
Yes. Yes. And, you look at the situations and you say to yourself, why is this? Who's allowing this to keep going? Because you say we're United States. We have the highest intelligence. We have all these things that to stop. What is that? Where Russia came in and did some stuff with the Hillary Clinton, and they caused a lot of problems. But we're supposed to be the top notch. How is this going on? It's like even they go let the elderly, they let these companies go in there and take these people's money, white, black, it don't matter. And they're letting them get people's mortgages and get kicking people out. How is this going on when the government is supposed to be CIA, ICC, all these individual type of ops that they have out there, but yet all this stuff is going on? I don't get it.
I don't understand it either, Sam. What I do understand, though, is that it's wrong, and what you and I need to discuss now is what's the solution.
The solution is really what they call self-impact, because the solution has to come within. So you have to make sure that, first of all, that you are willing and able to handle what's going to come forth, because if you stand up and you open and you express yourself, you will be segregated to manipulation. There's all kind of things that's going to come. But a lot of times now, it's nobody's afraid anymore. So we all have to come to terms with what must happen next. And you have to say, well, is it going to be worth me taking the chance to put myself out there and make sure things are going accordingly? And remember, you look at Kennedy, King, anybody that stood up, that did anything to try to help, was put down. So it's about, okay, you can't have fear no more, because we're going, like, it's almost like saying we're circling the drain. We look at the other countries and they say, we won't have to do much, because by the time everything goes bad, because they're already fighting amongst themselves. They're about to have a civil war, undercover, because it's all got to be undercover, because they don't want the other countries to, because the United States is supposed to be home of the free.
Home of the free. Yeah, well, we're not free. Whether you're black or white, we're not free anymore.
Exactly.
We're losing our Bill of Rights real fast.
Yes.
All 10 of them are under attack.
They're running them over as fast as, it's like, if you don't pay attention to what's going on around you, you'd be like you're getting blindsided.
It's like I always say, the culture that forgets its history has no future.
Exactly. And that's what they're trying to, they're trying to, like, I don't see how they can actually say, we can sweep this under the carpet and let's go on. But no, it's already done. The damages has been done. People are looking at you in a different light now.
So you think that this is a rather sensitive question, but I'm curious, do you believe, or is predominantly just a few people in that Black Lives Matter mess?
Oh, man. I hate to say, but again, if they was going to do something, they should have never stopped. This should still be going on, just because they say, okay, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a conversation about this. Okay, but you can talk all day long, but if it's putting your foot forward to make things happen, it'll never happen. It
Okay.
will still be right back. It's like a circle. It's like you say,
Mhm.
you get mad, you get angry, then you're happy, and then you're sad, and then you get mad and
Mhm.
get angry, and it's a constant circle.
Yes.
So as long as we keep doing that same thing, we'll get nowhere
Right.
until
I
we
agree.
actually say, this is what we need to do.
Stop. Enough is enough. What
Exactly. And now
what?
let's make laws. Let's really hold these people accountable. Let's
Mhm.
make sure that things are not and will never happen again. And if
Right.
it does, it's dealt with expeditiously. Bam,
Yes.
bam, bam.
Right. The rest of them.
No second guessing, no nothing.
No. I totally agree. I'm a big favor of capital punishment for certain crimes. But I don't believe it should take them 20 years. I should take them about maybe 3 or 4 years to go through the appellate system and state, that's it, you're guilty.
Yeah, and it's almost like saying to individual, we we see and we know, but
Mhm.
because if we held you accountable, then we're gonna have to hold him accountable, her accountable, him accountable, and then it's gonna go up the ladder. And
Yeah,
see, that's what they're scared of, because
right.
once they start, it's got to keep going to the top, and
And
they
we know
don't
where the
want
top
it.
is. And we know what,
Exactly.
right. Of course they don't. The bigots and the racist and power hungry, because
Yes.
they'll lose a lot of their power if the African Americans get in there and start exercising their power, not
Yeah,
just,
and that's a hindrance. It's like, you remember back in the day, we go back to Jim Crow.
yeah.
When the Black Panthers, when they
Oh,
started
yeah.
doing the Black Panther movement,
Yeah,
man, they shut that down so quick, man.
they
It
did.
made your head spin.
I remember that.
Yeah, they shut that down. There's no way we're gonna let you gain that much strength
Hmm.
to where you can stand up for yourself. No way. And we will take major or drastic measurements to stop
Yeah.
this from happening. And that's exactly what they did.
And Louis Farrakhan's another one they shut down. He's still around. But he's not as powerful as he used to was, because they shut him
Exactly.
down.
Yes, they don't want
When they shot Malcolm
anybody.
X, Malcolm
Yep.
X's own bodyguard shot him.
See, that was paid. That's all government.
Yeah, it was.
And I hate to say that. I hate to
I,
say that,
I, I hate to hear
because
it.
yeah, it's like it's a crying shame to where you can't trust. It's like, another devastating, which I still was, believe that they even let that even be aired, when they told Muhammad Ali, or actually he was Cassius Clay,
Yes.
and they told him, yeah, you now you're the champion. Now you're gonna go fight for your freedom, or your people, or for your country. And he said, my fight is not with them. They're not the ones hanging us. They're not the ones killing the babies. You are. And that's why they put him in prison. They stripped him of his title. The
Yeah.
truth hurts.
Yes, it does.
The truth hurts.
Yes, it does. And the truth shall make you truth. The truth shall free you, but
They
first
say
she
in
will
the
make you
Bible,
visible.
yes, in the Bible say the truth will set you free.
Free. But first she
We
will
ain't
make you mighty
joking.
miserable. But she will first
Oh,
make you mighty miserable. And
truth
that's
get you
happened.
killed. Truth will get you killed.
Yeah.
That's back to the Kennedys, Lincoln, all that. The
Yeah.
truth will get you killed.
Yes. I totally I
And
know
it's,
that.
yeah, and it's a shame that, but yet they'll stand there and smile in your face,
Hmm.
shake your hand, and pretend
Sugarcoat
like
everything.
exactly, and then they pull that plausible deniability.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, it's not working. At least, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't work with me anymore.
Yeah, The cat's out the bag, it's standing there, it's screaming, but you still tell me you don't see the cat. Come on.
Yeah. Let's get
It
real
don't make
here.
no sense. It
Let's
don't
get
make
real
no
here
sense.
and start a national dialogue. I'm trying to get a panel together, Sam, of very minorities
That'd be
like
excellent. Yes.
you, and I've got advertisement out. I haven't had any responses yet. You're the first one who's responded, and I'm
excellent.
extremely grateful.
Yes. And because this is something that needs to be told. It has to
Yes.
be out there.
Mhm.
Because the more you hide, the more they divide.
You're absolutely. I like that saying. I want to steal it from you.
Okay.
The more you hide, the more you lie, the more they hide. I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree. I think it's an excellent saying. I have to remember it. So
Yes,
what are we
yeah,
going to do?
Well, I think we have to go to and get our younger generation and make sure that they understand that this was done for you, not for me. It's like my parents did what they did for me. So I
Mhm.
did what I did for my kids.
Right.
So now, so you can have a better life. That's the whole idea.
Right.
And I'm willing to die for that if that's what it takes.
Okay. I
Because
see
that's what
what you
my
can do.
parents did for me.
Right. So what can I do as a white man?
Well, you can, first of all, you can always express yourself. And it's like, I also remember that when we were young, that if they found out that there were certain people that was helping or giving a hand,
Mhm.
they looked down on them as well.
Mhm.
So that's almost like Harriet Tubman type of
Yeah.
situation, because
Right.
of the fact that she was bringing slaves. She was trying to, and if they found out if you were helping these people, you were treated as just as bad or if not worse.
Yeah.
So as for yourself, sir, I would say be very conscientious always. And I definitely like your page, because now we have the rights to, and we can voice ourselves and
Mhm.
and put it out there, whether they like it or not. It's called freedom of speech.
Yes.
So I can tell you exactly how I feel. You might not like what I say, and I'm gonna do it as in a polite manner as I possibly can, but I'm still gonna tell you the truth.
Good.
So as long as you keep telling the truth, you're doing your part. And I
Okay.
appreciate that you even allowing me to come up on your station and voice myself. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And I hope I get the opportunity to do this again.
Oh, you will. Yeah.
Excellent.
If I get some more people together, get some Hispanics and some more African
Yes.
Americans, maybe LGBTQs,
Some Indian,
transgenders,
yes, some
some
Native
Native
Americans.
Americans, yeah. Because
Yes, yes.
and get them
Because
together in a
also
panel.
my family, my grandmother is full-blooded Seminole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would
So
be about the right place, Florida,
yeah,
Louisiana.
Louisiana, all that. That's
The
Seminole.
That's Seminole country. They're the only
Yes.
Native American tribe that whooped the Americans.
Yeah. And they did not like that.
No, the Americans didn't like being whipped, but they got their fannies handed to them. Seminoles just flat, and I loved it.
Yes. Yes. So I have that in my blood as well.
Yeah.
But I also was taught to, you can't, sometimes it's better, it's in order for us to win, you have to lose. And sometimes you put yourself in a position to where, hey, if I speak out now, I might pay for it now, but at least somebody gonna see that he stood up. He didn't lay down. He
Right.
he did what he was supposed to do, although it got him killed, beat up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that was going on. But like you said, that's the king, that's the exes, that's everybody that actually try to stand up for themselves. Anything
Yep.
could happen.
Right.
Anything could happen because you're speaking the truth. And that's another thing about free. It can get you killed.
Yep, it can. No doubt about it. I totally agree with you, Sam. I think that We still got time here. We're not out of time yet. We got about 10 minutes
Good,
left.
good.
We got about 15 minutes left.
Sweet.
So this has been an incredible conversation, Sam. I just can't say how grateful I am.
Well, I appreciate your
for
time,
taking the
sir.
risk.
And yes, but I look at it this: it's time for the silent to be heard.
Yes, totally agree. Right, it'll stop.
Because I can't. I don't do my family or myself or anybody else no good if I remain silent.
And I am the same way. I need to start being more vocal myself about some of this on my podcast.
Yes,
This
and I do appreciate you.
Yeah, this will be. I will publish this probably tomorrow afternoon. I'm not going to get it done today because it just takes too much work. Post production is the hardest part of podcasting.
Yes, I can see that, and plus, I definitely, I was looking into certain things, and it's like, it does me. I'm an artist. I do many things in my life, but one thing I need to do is also express myself, and this is a way, getting out there, telling the people the truth, maybe be good or bad. It depends on the situation.
Truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth.
That's
so
right.
I'd rather, because my mom used to tell me, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's gonna hurt. I'd rather you tell me the truth than tell me a lie, because if you tell one lie, then you got to tell another one to cover that one up.
And you got to remember both of them.
Exactly. So it's better to tell the truth and take the punishment than to lie. And then really put yourself in a pickle.
Yeah.
They could say, I can't stand him, but at least he was honest.
Right. And that's what we need to have is more of, I believe. Is more people like you are going to stand up and be honest. People like myself is going to attempt to become as more honest and more vocal in my podcasts and public speaking, which I don't do any public speaking, but I've got a podcast coming up with a bunch of retired people in my new home where I'm moving. I'll be doing a podcast there too. So I'll see what I can get from there. See if there's any of color. I didn't see any of color when I was there, but I'll look.
Yeah. And it's good to get both. Adversity is definitely a plus, because then you get to see the other side. And because a lot of folks, they were, like you say, they had the wool pulled over their eyes. So, but back in Jim Crow there was no wool. It was all out there. They knew exactly what they was doing.
Yeah.
It was set up. And like, look, Tulsa. They blew up Tulsa, and then they, that was the only place that they actually dropped bombs and killed innocent people.
I remember.
But you still got to say, and to them, that's an insult. You're opening up an old wound that they don't want to deal with. They want things to just go away. How come you can't just go away? Well, we are here. We just don't fade away.
Nope.
You might hope that, but unfortunately, that's been, it's like tradition. This is what you're going to remember. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And that's handed down through century and century. My mom and them did that to me. I did that to my children. And I pray my children do the same to theirs.
Yes. And you don't have any control over what your children teach them.
Exactly. I have no control. I just pray that they look at things and in the light that they see it in, that people understand that, this was done for a reason. People died for this. So we can express ourselves.
I'm an Episcopalian. I'm an Episcopalian, and our presiding bishop, the bishop over all the United States.
Oh, wow.
It's from South Carolina. He's a African American.
Sweet.
I don't know if you go, and he's wonderful. I mean, he's the best preacher I've listened to him in person. I met him. Michael Curry's his name. He's the one that did the prayer at the royal wedding here a year or so ago, or 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
It's Michael Curry. He did the prayer for him. He did a sermon that was on love that was just incredible, because he met the prince married an African American woman.
Yes.
And so they had Michael do the sermon, and it was just an incredible sermon. And our bishop in Colorado, our Colorado bishop of the Diocese of Colorado of the Episcopal Church, is an African American woman. We are very, very liberal, very progressive, and getting our
Yes, and things are definitely changing, and
we got
things
that's
are
not fast
just
enough.
it's it's all really it all boils down to is if everybody would sit down and it's to say they would call it like in marriage reconciling. If they
Yes,
would reconcile
yes,
and say you okay, we did a lot of mean nasty things, okay, and it's gonna take time, but let's start fixing this.
yeah.
Let's be one. Let's be one.
You
You
and me
know,
together are two. Let it
yes,
begin with me.
yes.
It says
See,
that in the Bible.
yep, that's right. And you have to keep pushing no matter what the
Yep,
situation is. As long as you doing right, this how you know if you're doing right, because then they're gonna
yep,
come after you.
yep.
And they're gonna cause problems.
Well, let's see what
That's how
kind of
you know
blowback.
you're doing it right. Yeah,
Because I'm going to title this "Race Relations with Samuel Smith."
sweet.
Is what I'm going to. This is the title that I'm going to give this when I do the post editing.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
So I
And
think we
and
got.
believe me, go ahead.
No, I am eternally grateful. I've said this before to you, Sam, on this, and I think you've done a great job here this afternoon on what needs to be done, what was going on, and how you feel about it. I appreciate you being honest with me. I feel
Yes,
you
sir.
was. I think you were quite honest with me, which is what I wanted to be
Yes,
just
sir.
bold, honest. And I agree
There's
with
no
what you
reason
said.
to.
The problem is you didn't make me mad, you didn't upset me, and you didn't hurt me. So that's marvelous. Because what you said, I
Yes,
have to
yes.
agree with. I have to agree with it. It's true.
Thank you, thank you, thank
All
you,
right,
thank you.
Sam.
Because the object of the game is to let people see that we
Mm-hmm.
can also have an intelligent conversation
Yes.
without all that mess and all
Yelling
that
and
other stuff. We don't need that.
screaming. No, we don't need the yelling, the screaming, the cussing.
No, no. That's it's all that does is fuel. That's
Yeah,
adding
that's
fuel
the
to the
fuel.
fire,
That's
and
added
that's all.
fuel
And
in
then
air.
and then there's no ending. Then
No.
you still feel the same way. You're still upset. I'm
Mm-hmm.
upset because I don't like what you said, or that's not accomplishing anything.
No, it's
We
not.
have to come to a position to say, okay, you're gonna hear some things you're not gonna like. Okay, but it's how you can address that issue and how to respond to
Yeah.
certain things, regardless of what people say. You have to be intelligent enough and not be a Neanderthal
Yeah.
and go right to the, oh, you offended me, and oh, there's no way, and that's just don't make no sense. That's why we still going and circling the drain.
Well, part of the reason too is people don't understand. You can't make me feel anything
See,
without my permission.
yep,
You can't offend me
exactly,
unless I give you permission, and I ain't gonna give it.
exactly, exactly. And then this is about life. This
Yes.
is about where we been, where we going,
Well, that's what
what are
we need to
you
know.
doing,
Yeah. Right.
because it's all going to come back to what you did, what he did, what he
Right.
said, and
Yeah.
then at the end, then y'all can say, man, that was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
because then that shed some light on things that I wasn't thinking about, or
Yeah.
because like say to have that other side is to make sure that regardless of the situation, we come to a happy medium.
Yeah.
And then everybody feels good.
Yeah. The part of that ad out there that I put out so I can get my panel together says,
Uh-huh.
I don't know your pain. You don't
Yeah.
know my pain. Let's get together and find out what our pains are. They're probably going to be pretty damn close to the same thing in
Yes.
most cases. I don't
Yes.
put that in there, but they will be. They'll be very close. The human experiences is very,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And excuse me. But you have
yeah,
to be able to, it's like say, face your fears. Face
yes,
your fear. You're gonna fall. You're
yeah,
gonna fall. Everybody falls. That's
yeah,
natural. But who's gonna get up? who's gonna brush themselves off,
Yep.
who's gonna
Get back
keep
on the
going.
horse. Get
Yes,
back on the horse.
you
They
have
say.
to.
You
If
do.
you plan on making it, you have to.
Yeah, you do.
And it's best to confront things that it's like say confront your fears or whatever, but it's like, well, it's not a fear, it's inevitable. I already know this. I've been raised in this area. So in a lot of these young individuals, they say, well, what can we do to better ourselves? It
Yeah.
says be on top, be on
Yeah.
top, be smart. Be smart. Don't let them, just because they tell you something, that don't make it true. Go
No.
and research. Check it out for yourself.
I say that on most of my
Find out.
podcasts.
Yes.
That's right. The Louisiana, the Tulsa thing, you've got to dig deep into that to get that.
Yeah. And then they get mad at you because you're digging.
Yeah, I know. I've had that happen. They
Yes.
threw me
They
off
don't like that.
YouTube. They banned me from YouTube for a while.
Wow.
So anyway, our time is up, so I'm going to
Okay.
stop the recording, but I'm not going to leave yet. So just hang tight.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the show. There are show notes and a place to comment at https://coffee-time-again.libsyn.com/website. He hopes that you liked what you heard and will tell others about him. Dale is attempting to get a following that both disagrees and agrees with him. He does not want yes men. If you disagree, wonderful. He is happy to have you here as a part of the Coffee Time Again team. Dale does not talk about the news of the day. He is attempting to give a history lesson that is just as important about what is going on in the headlines of today. Please do not hesitate to contact him. Just remember that Dale wants a clean show, meaning no cussing, name calling, yelling, or hate allowed. You can disagree with him and not be disagreeable about it. Support him and help keep this alive. https colon / glow.fm / coffee dash time dash again.